I'm going to answer some commonly asked questions that I've been receiving in the last few days. One is, what exercise? What do you do? How, anything exercise related. Okay, so since I've been doing actively Beachbody workouts since 2019. Now, I do not do any other like hard, intense workouts like P90X. Never done that. I do the ones that are normally for beginner, entry level, that you can get a good workout without being like, it being too difficult. And especially with my heart, I don't need that. Walking is just, that's the minimum. That would be sufficient if need be. But I choose to do more, and 30 minutes a day. And even talking to my provider even said just this last week, 20, 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week is enough for you right now. The program that I'm doing, she's very familiar with Beachbody. So she's like, yeah, that program you're doing is just fine. So that's what I'm doing. So all my workouts are typically Beachbody related, or that's why you see me walk, bike, elliptical, any of that type of stuff is okay. And that's what I have been doing actively since summer of 2019. I had another question come up. It says, what do you do for nutrition? Or what have you done? Or what do you follow? Okay, so let me back up. Since 2018, right after I had Brooklyn in January, when I was living with my parents, I signed up for Weight Watchers. I did that until I moved back to Arizona in June 2018. So that was that. Then once I started Beachbody, I didn't start with the nutrition. I strictly only did their workouts. And then I found out quickly, you cannot out exercise a poor nutrition, a poor diet, whatever you want to call it. So I've done a couple different meal plans with Beachbody. One was their plated method, and then one with their containers. Both, I would say, good. Container system with Beachbody is more like counting your macros, and that's based off like your age, your weight, your height. Like they can have a chart and tell you, eat so many cups of vegetables, fruit. You eat food groups. Plated, same type thing. It's just you still eat protein, vegetables, everything. And still to this day, I'm not restricting myself. Now, I do believe in telling myself no to some things like sugars, added sugars, not necessarily sugars in a banana, but sugars in such as added sugars, sweets, treats, a little bit of it. But I cut out pop a couple months ago. So now when I was in Indiana, did I have this drink or maybe drink some of Ricky's? Yes. But do I sit down and go to get a fountain pop every day? No. To answer your question about my nutrition, now I do it like, I believe in like eating food groups, because if not, that leads to binge eating. Now, I am not saying there's right or wrong. If you want to do keto, you want to do Weight Watchers, you do whatever you want, that works for you. And that's my point of this. But no, I do not count calories. I eat in food groups. And right now, what I've been doing the last few weeks is when I go to eat and make my plate, so it's like a plated method is, I grab, and it's breakfast, lunch, dinner, doesn't matter. I grab a vegetable. I don't measure anything. I just grab a vegetable. I grab a protein, a healthy fat. Then if I want a carb, if I want like a fruit, that's fine. So there you go. That's what I do for nutrition. So hopefully that answers your question. Let me answer this. So how did I find my doctor? Well, Instagram for one. And I'm happy to share her name with anybody, but another Beachbody coach that I follow used her, and I followed her journey. And, she ended up having like lupus, and not saying that that's what I have, but like she was talking about like everything she was going through and getting food sensitivity test and a saliva test and all this stuff about her health, and didn't even realize it was really hormone related. Anyways, and in the process she learned about having lupus and everything. So I follow, and I still follow her journey, but she's a Beachbody coach. So I followed her, and she's the one that talked about this nurse practitioner. So I started following the nurse practitioner, and I followed her for a good year before I even messaged her. So about a couple months ago, it must have been in April-ish, sometime, I seen this provider, and I've been watching her. And a few days before, I talked to one of my girlfriends here, and I was like, okay, I need a functional integrated doctor. Who do you go to, or do you recommend anybody? Because she's like my go-to person for preschool, dentist, and I go to her and ask. Well, she's like, yeah, go to this doctor in Scottsdale. I called that day. They're like, no, we're not taking any new patients. I'm like, crap. So I instantly sat at my kitchen table and prayed that day. And I said, Lord, show me somebody. And on that day, this provider posted and said she was taking like people like virtual like patients or whatever. And that day I was sitting through the McDonald's parking lot drive-thru, and my husband messaged her, and I did. I filled out the form, and the rest is history. Like, my husband is in full support of, he told me, Janelle, it could cost us $100,000 because we are paying out of pocket because she is a functional integrated doctor. And let me tell you, I could preach all day about that. I'm not a crunchy mom, but I'm not like, we need antibiotics, the first day my kid gets sick and has fever. So I'm like middle of the road. So I knew like I was okay. And my husband said, your health is worth the investment. So whatever, we'll pay it. And that's what we're doing. So that's how I found her. And it's been a godsend. And I've been working with her ever since for the last month or two. And at this moment, I would 10 out of 10 recommend her to anybody. We'll see in a couple months after I do some more testing and start on my medicine if we get it under control. And then in a few months after that, I'm working with her for 6 months. We'll see how everything works out. So all along in my journey, I just wanted to say thank you to all of my supporters and followers that have followed me and loved on me and gave me encouragement through this process. Feel free to message me, leave a comment, questions, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible.